Other boy reaction. Hey guys, Other Boy Reactions here. Alright, so we're going to watch the second episode of the Euphoria specials. So this is Euphoria special episode part 2, Jules. If you guys are enjoying my videos, please like, comment, and subscribe. And if you'd like full reactions and early reactions, please check out my Patreon by going to the link down below. Alright, let's get started.
I think I want to go off my hormones.
Really?
Okay. Have you been thinking a lot about detransitioning?
No,
Just now.
Okay, then what is it?
I don't know. I've just been like thinking about what men want is so boring and simple and not creative, and just like I look at myself and I'm like, how the fuck did I spend my entire life building this, like my body and my personality and like my soul around what I think men desire.
You really feel like your entire existence, physically and emotionally, is that reactive?
What do you mean?
That I'm not looking or talking to Jules? I'm looking at an avatar she created in reaction to the world?
Yeah, I'm here, but you're looking at like a million layers of other people that I've grabbed and clung to throughout my entire life. Mastered
Everyone
the
does
art of
that.
hiding it with like smiles and nods and small talk. It's like you can still catch them doing it, like their eyes wandering over your face, or the quick takes up and down your body, or like they watch how your clothes hang off your torso, or like they look for what tags are on your clothes to see where you shop, or they'll watch your hands to find like fucked up cuticles or chipped nail polish. No girl had ever looked at me the way Rue did. Hi. I feel like Rue was the first girl that didn't just look at me. Like, she actually saw me. I
She
take
has
that
the
back.
best dad.
I don't want to talk about my mom.
Talk about your dad.
I promise you, I have no agenda. We can talk about whatever it is you want to talk about.
Like through and through, and then femininity would always be this just like this like elusive, distant thing, like unreachable. But then I think about beautiful things that are also broad and deep and thick, and I think of something like the ocean. And when we'd go visit, I'd go down to the beach, and I'd close my eyes, and I'd just swim and swim, and it didn't matter like where I was going or what could happen. Sometimes I pray to the ocean on how available I am to her.
It's not fair.
Like, she'd ask me to sleep over, and I'd say no for, like, whatever reason, because it was a fucking weekday or something, and I'd feel, like, this weight.
Pressure.
Like, this massive weight on my shoulders, and I'd think, like...
You don't want that responsibility.
Like, what if she relapses,
Who's that?
No, I'll be there. Can you let it go? Can you let it go? No, I'll be there. Can you let it go? No, I'll be there. No, I'll be there. Can you let it go? Can you let it go? No, I'll be there. Can you let
So would it be fair to say that you resented that imbalance?
Yes.
That the same person who saw you, who truly saw you, in the same way that your mom did when you were a baby, was also incapable of seeing how her addictions affected you.
Yeah, I guess I never thought about it that way before.
If I wasn't important, then why would you waste all your poison?
Oh, Mom.
It's all fantasy.
That's so old school though. Oh my god! Oh my god! What the fuck? What the fuck? Is this in her head?
There were so many times I wanted to kiss her.
Right. Because her mom fucking sent her to be fixed. Oh my God. Where is this? When you fucking sent your picture.
Can't tell you how many times we'd just be like texting and texting.
Because you've never met him.
Because whoever I was talking to didn't exist.
What do you mean whoever you were talking to? You already know now who he is.
Tyler?
Don't look at my face. Oh my god. Oh.
I can't, say it out loud. Rue! 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 Come on! Rue! Rue! Open the... God! Fucking sorry!
Jules.
That's Rue.
Hey, Jules. Jules, open up. You gotta come home, Jules.
I can't go back.
You're 17, you cannot live alone. This is not real life, Jules.
He found her?
I can't go back to East Highland.
Where's East Highland?
You're coming.
Go after her. Since you didn't last time. Are you fucking kidding me?
I definitely felt a little complicated at first about having Jules kind of really elaborate on where she's at with gender and sexuality. If I've learned anything from being trans for my whole life, it's that, that spiral kind of never stops.
Femininity would always be this elusive, distant thing,
And so I would make paintings or drawings or sketches of how I might have seen a scene or something.
Wow. So does she do the storyboards? Holy fuck.
I wanted to capture as much of Hunter's spirit as possible for this episode because
I'm allowed
she's
to be
infectious
skeptical.
And she couldn't talk to Rue about that.
There was aspects of her relationship with Rue that mirrored her relationship with her mother, that were unhealthy in the same ways that her relationship with her mother were unhealthy. Understanding the real weight and burden that Rue places on her as an addict.
At the same time, though, I'm like
Sort of
really
detached
angry.
from the structure that season 1 took on, and I'm sure that will influence the way season 2 takes shape.
It's just nice to take our time with these characters. I mean, I don't really know what season 2 is gonna look like, but I do think that we were all very inspired by what was done here.
These episodes open up new possibilities for the future of the show and how we can all grow with it together.
Oh my god, it was so good. So good. And the first episode was good too with Rue, but this just took on a whole new level of beauty. And they were so much more creative, and because I'm guessing this was shot during COVID too. And so they had, minimal scene changes, and it was mostly in only a few locations, and like no more than 2 actors or 3 actors, and no more than 2 actors in a scene basically. And it felt very personal. And I was wondering, I was like, how can Sam Levinson get into the mind of this transgender girl? And then I saw at the end that Hunter Schafer co-wrote it with him. It's like, yeah, like her perspective had to be in there. Like, it just felt very personal and very real, and a side of Jules that we didn't get to see fully in the show. And how it was interesting how she was talking about how she felt like, femininity could be this elusive, distant thing. That's how I felt about Jules in the show. She was just this enigma, this beautiful enigma, and but it was almost like we couldn't touch her. We couldn't really get in there. They only let us into her character very minimally. And I always wondered who she was. I wanted to know more. And this episode really helped with that. And it really helped me understand her mindset and the stuff with her mom that I had no idea was going on. Like, I knew that she didn't get along with her mom at an early age because of, she sent her away to, she sent her away as a boy to be fixed because she didn't agree with, her being transgender. And then we, never heard anything more about the mom. I had no idea that she was an addict. I had no idea where she was. I figured, the parents just divorced and, she was gone. They went their separate ways. We got to see more of the dad in this. I still think he's an amazing parent. He's not going to be perfect. But the fact that he accepts his daughter, his transgender daughter, and he still wants his daughter to have a relationship with her mother, even though the mother was awful. You can tell that he's hurt by the mother leaving too, and he's sad, and he wants them to be a family. And I don't know, it was shot so much like a dream, a lot of it, because especially since she said she had a dream, a nightmare. But the scene when the father was supposedly banging on the door in her apartment in New York, I guess that part really happened, right? I mean, because she came home, Um, I mean, yeah, he was banging and being aggressive and saying, open the door, but it was beautiful because he's there because he cares about her. He's like, you can't live alone. You're 17. He wants her to come home. He wants his daughter back. The fact that he would go after her is so beautiful. When a lot of kids who run away, especially the transgender ones or gay ones, if they've been kicked out or if they run away, like their parents don't come after them. It was just so beautiful. And even though she said, my dad's mad at me, I'm grounded, that to me still was beautiful because he loves her enough to, to ground her and to almost put like loving restrictions on her because he doesn't want her to get hurt. He wants her to be safe. He wants her home. I really hope they show more of her dad in the show. We only got to see a little bit of him. And the little that I did see of him last season, I still thought he was amazing. This made me like him even more. It made me see where he's coming at, or where he's coming from. The mom sucks. The mom fucking sucks. Even though she heard everything that Jules and the dad were arguing about, she should have just sat there and just taken it. Listen, you need to hear all of that. If she really wanted to make amends, you shouldn't be going there because you need something from your daughter or that you expect. You shouldn't expect anything from her. The only thing you should expect or you should hope for is that Jules will listen to you, apologize. She doesn't have to accept your apology. She's not required to. Even if the dad wants her to. But she couldn't even do that. She really should have just... I wish Jules could have said all of that to her face and the mother just sit there and listen. That's what she should have done, but she couldn't. She was a fucking coward. And I think that's a big part of addiction. It makes fucking cowards. And it makes people selfish. It just really made me think of my friend, former friend now, who's an addict. And every time I watch this show, I think of him. Especially the Rue episode. That one I felt like I was watching my friend have a conversation with, a sponsor. I understood what Jules was talking about when it's like that person's sobriety depends on how available you are to them, because they can't be alone. They don't know how to be alone. And it's like, I don't want that fucking pressure. I don't want that responsibility. And at first, it feels nice to be needed by someone. But then it's like, it just starts to take over. And then they have these mood swings, and they lose their temper, and then you get blamed for stuff. And then, or if they lose, their drugs, then it like ruins their whole fucking day. It's sad and it's toxic. And, it made me understand why Jules ran away. It was just too much. It was stuff with Rue, new relationship with this girl. She's never had a relationship with a girl. The stuff with, I feel like his real name is Nate, right? Jacob Elordi's character. Nate, finding out that Tyler, who she thought was Tyler online, is Nate. This, her arch nemesis, the guy that she hates. That fucking destroyed her. And then the stuff with her mom. And then Rue's addiction. It's just too much. She was only a kid. And then on top of that, the pressures of being a transgender girl and trying to, in her mind, trying to fit this perfect image of femininity, what she thinks femininity is supposed to be. It's just a lot. It's a lot. It was a really good episode. I loved the scenes of her talking about the ocean and how that represented freedom to her, and how she could just be herself, and her grandmother used to live by the ocean. And sometimes I feel like I relate to her so much, and then other times, like when she talks about how she felt her online relationships were so real, that's when, she loses me, because it's like, I could never do that. I could never. Well, I mean, especially, I feel like that doesn't happen today, not in the way that it happened to her. Like, I could see an online relationship with someone who at least sent you pictures of their face and had at least something. Like, it's very rare to have an online relationship and not see their face anymore. Like, maybe back in the day, like early 2000s, late 90s. I remember doing stuff like that when I was a kid, probably, obviously inappropriately, talking to older gentlemen, never seeing their face, or, chatting with them in chat rooms, or, having them call me on the phone, doing, phone sex, and then once they get what they want, then they hang up. Like, but nowadays it's like, you at least get to see their face, even if maybe it's not even their face, but it's something. Like this guy Nate he didn't show shit except for his dick and his body, probably, which are amazing, but we gotta see something real. And it was so sad to me to see her think that she was in love with this phantom. Like, nothing about him was real. But you know what? At the same time, it's really weird, because I feel like, when the show was on, the first season, even though Nate was an awful character, I feel like a lot of the conversations that he had online with Jules was real. Like, it was the real him. Because that was where he could be safe too. Like, she felt safe because, it's anonymous and it's not totally real, and there's distance because it's the internet and they're not right in front of you, and it's pure imagination, like she said, and he's feeling the same things. And he's coming from this from a totally different perspective. His perspective is he can't be who he wants to be, and he doesn't feel like he can date who he's actually attracted to because of society. And so by being anonymous online, he can be free. That's his freedom, and he can say how he really feels. And so there was an element of truth to the conversations that he had with Jules. I almost feel like that nasty side of Nate that we saw so much of wasn't the real him, but it is at the same time, because he still did it. It's not him in the sense of it's not who he wants to be, but it's him because he still did it. He still said those things. He still hurt people. He still threatened people, and like actions mean things. Actions mean something. So we'll have to see if he's changed in the new season. I don't know. I really feel like, I don't know. I mean, I think Rue definitely is Jules' soulmate, but I still feel like they want to have Jules get together with Nate in some way and like maybe date for a little bit. Like she's gonna change him because people always like to change guys. um, I mean, the sex scenes in this were amazing. Even though you could barely see his face, I mean, they did that on purpose because she couldn't see his face online. She didn't even know who he was. It was all in her imagination. It was so well done. And you can really see how, because Sam Levinson used to direct music videos, I believe, right? You can really see that influence in this show, and it's just beautifully shot. It's art. That's why he and Hunter Schafer work so well together, because they're both so visual, and they capture feelings. But what's interesting about Sam Levinson is that he knows how to show and tell, because usually some some shows are very wordy, very dialogue heavy, and instead of just showing the story, they have to tell the story. This show does both equally well. It's amazing because the dialogue is so real, and then the visuals just complement them so well. At first, when I first started watching this episode, I was thinking like, why was it shot so differently than Rue's episode? And I almost felt like this episode had was handled with more care, but then I realized, I mean, Rue's episode was very emotional too, just in a very different way, and it was just as intimate. But this episode was different because they did show other characters, they did show flashbacks. It was more of a dream because that's the way Jules' mind works too. I mean, she's an artist, so it makes perfect sense. It was a lot easier to watch because it flowed more, and it wasn't just static in one location. Like when I first saw it, I was afraid, oh, this is all gonna be in this room with the therapist. I was like, I don't know if I like that because we already saw that with Rue. And Rue's episode was all about her addiction, which was hard to watch because it was a lot. But it was realistic because that's where she was when we left these characters. She was in the middle of a meltdown, a breakdown. And this was Jules' breakdown. This is how she handled it. I love that we got to see them after Jules came home. I love that we got to see that she came home. And it was Christmas time and Rue came over. She was soaking wet. She didn't know what to say to Jules. Jules didn't know what to say to her. It didn't go how I thought it was going to go. I thought they were going to hug it out or kiss or something and both say that they're sorry, but Rue, I felt like Rue was too hurt and embarrassed, and I feel like she was embarrassed that she never answered her back too, and she didn't answer her back because she was hurt that Jules just left without her, and that Jules left without any consideration for Rue's mental health as far as her needing her medication. She couldn't just pick up and go. And then at the same time, she probably feels like a burden to Jules. It's just so much. These kids are going through so much. They're so young. And Jules didn't know what to say because she fucking left her best friend. And all the shit that we saw in this episode, she's going through all of that. But obviously they both still care about each other, which is important. So, you know, they're going to get back together at some point. I just think their relationship is so beautiful. It's one of the most beautiful relationships I've ever seen on screen. And it's very surprising. I think it helps that Jules is transgender. Because I've seen beautiful relationships between two women, but it just makes it more unique and special, the fact that Jules is transgender and apparently pansexual, because she can just be like, oh, I'm not into guys anymore. Like, like that part I can't relate to, but I think it's very interesting. I always think pansexual people are interesting because it's like, I wonder what it's like to just be able to go back and forth between, like, I like men and women, and it's so interesting. And I always say it would make the world a much more understanding and compassionate world if more, if not everyone, was was pansexual, but it's just not possible. And I mean, that's okay too, but I just think it would be very interesting if more people were pansexual, because then there wouldn't be any judgment. Like, you can't judge if everyone's the same, but at the same time you don't want everyone to be the same, because that would be boring too. So it's just life. Very interesting characters, amazing episode, amazing acting, amazing writing, amazing visuals. Loved it, loved every minute of it. And I can't wait for the new season. So until then, guys, I guess take care of yourselves, take care of each other, and I will see you next time. Bye. Can't tell you more than